students, welcome to the biology class of StudyGist. Today we will continue with the chapter Improvements in Food Resources. Today is the part 2 of this chapters, and in today's class the topic which will be discussed, these are, firstly we will discuss about the improvement in the yield, okay. Next we'll discuss about nutrient management, how the nutrient quantity is managed, right. And next we'll study about the manures and fertilizers. What are the differences? What are the advantages? Means which one is better to be chosen? Regarding that, we'll have the clear idea. Next we'll study about irrigation and its advantages. And lastly, we'll discuss about the traditional methods of irrigation. But before we start to discuss these topics, I would like to remind you about our social media platforms. Like our YouTube channel, as you can see on the screen, it's StudyGist Academy. Do subscribe our channel. Like our Facebook page, StudyGist Academy. Join our Telegram channel as the link is provided here. And the name of the channel as also you can see on the screen, that is StudyGist School 7 to 10. And after joining, the group will give you this kind of appearance, right? And in this group, you will get each and every possible and important updates about the live classes as well as the study materials of each and every subject. Now you can follow us on Instagram and also join us through the WhatsApp community through this number which is displayed over the screen. And for more updates, don't forget to visit our website www.studygist.in. Now in Google Play Store, our free app of StudyGist is available. It's a very user-friendly app, and through this app all the live classes of each and every subjects, these are being conducted. Apart from the live classes, all other classes that the recorded classes are there. You will get all the information here. So without any delay, do download the app and install it now. This is how our YouTube channel looks like. As I told you earlier, that to subscribe our channel and then don't forget to hit the bell icon so that what will happen, whenever any new videos will be uploaded, you will get instant notification and can check out the video. This is how our Facebook page looks like. So do like our Facebook page too for being united with us constantly. So without any further delay, let's get started. As I told you that today our first topic is improvement in the yield. Yield means what? In this chapter we all are learning or focusing on how the crop can be developed. Development, improvement in the food resources, and in the food resources, what is the main resource of food? The main resource of food is the crops, right? As we have studied so far. Now the thing is how the amount of crops that we can get from the agricultural field. Okay, so that how it can be improved, how we can get more and more crops, right? So improvement in yield means how can we get more crops. Okay, so following the three scientific approaches are there which are adopted in all over India so that we can get high yield from the agricultural farms. And what are these practices? First is crop production management, crop variety improvement, and last is the crop protection management, right? Firstly, briefly I will tell what these specific approaches deals with. See, crop production management. Crop will definitely be produced if we follow proper procedures, right? और crop production के बाद उसको manage करना भी बहुत ज़रूरी है. So the first thing deals with this thing. Next is crop की जो variety है उसको कैसे improve किया जाए. And lastly, crop production variety सब तो सही है. After the formation, after we get the yield, how we can manage it? We can protect it from different, different pests, different insects, different attacks, right? So it's very, very important. So firstly, we'll talk about the crop production management. It refers to the controlling of various aspects of crop production to get or to obtain the maximum and the best yield. ये जो साइंटिफिक अप्रोचेज हैं, तीनों साइंटिफिक अप्रोच, इनमें से तीनों में ही हम लोग क्या, व्हाट इज द मोटो, व्हाट इज आवर एम, व्हाट इज आवर ऑब्जेक्टिव, our main aim or objective or motto is what? To get the maximum and the best yield, ताकि प्रोडक्शन जो है, अमाउंट जो है, अल्टीमेटली हम लोगों को ज़्यादा मिले और हाई क्वालिटी का मिले, राइट? सो इसके लिए फॉर प्रॉपर क्रॉप प्रोडक्शन मैनेजमेंट it includes 3 components. And what are the 3 components? First is the nutrient management, nutrient level को सही रखना. Next is the irrigation and last one is the cropping patterns. Okay? So now we'll first talk about nutrient management. अब nutrient management का मतलब क्या है? It means controlling the selection, the timing and the amount of nutrient supply to the crops. This is very important. Why? I'll tell you कि कोई भी nutrient management का सबसे पहला step क्या होना चाहिए? First, it must be controlling the selection. How you are selecting the nutrients, right? कौन से nutrients को किस लिए आप लोग use कर रहे हो और the farmers are using or they tend to use. That is very important and that should definitely be the first step. Next, timing is very important. For how long you are going to apply it, you are going to add the nutrients, and for how long you are allowing the nutrients to be mixed with the soil and can help in the further development and production of the crops in the agricultural field. And lastly, the amount of nutrient supply. So these 3 are very important parameters. So like other living organisms, plants also require the inorganic elements. Okay, for which purpose? For building their body structure and also to maintain their metabolic processes. Different metabolic processes are constantly, going on inside the body of the living organisms like plants and animals. So for this nutrient management is very important. There are about 40 elements which are found in the plant ash. After the death of the plant, when the plant ash is produced, there 40 elements are found, but only 16 of them or 16 of those elements are essential for plant growth as well as development. तो plant ash में plant की death के बाद कितने elements मिलते हैं हम लोगों को? 40 elements, पर उसमें से सिर्फ 16 element ही, 16 elements ही important है और essential है for the plant growth and development. इसीलिए these 16 elements are special and so these are known as essential elements or essential plant nutrients. Okay. Now out of these 16 essential plant nutrients or elements, 2 elements like carbon and oxygen, these are obtained from the air and hydrogen from the water. So इसमें से hydrogen, oxygen and carbon dioxide, ये तीनों में से, ये तीनों out of this 16 elements, ये तीनों में से oxygen and carbon dioxide, these are found where they can be obtained from the air and hydrogen can be obtained from the water. So how many remaining? 16 minus 1, 2, 3. So what is there? 13 elements. Okay. So now this remaining 13 elements are supplied by the soil. Clear? So definitely from the nature only these 16 elements are being arranged. So if 2 elements are supplied from the air and if 1 element can be obtained from water, then from where this rest of the 13 elements are coming from? They are definitely coming from nothing but the soil, nothing from the soil. So these elements are called the minerals. Okay, through the soil, from the soil, through the help of roots, we know the plants keep on absorbing the water along with the dissolved nutrients, right? So these nutrients are absorbed through the water, right? So a mineral is what? Mineral is a substance which is obtained by mining. Now coming to the next topic, that is the manures and fertilizers. See, the deficiency of plant nutrients or any organic matter in the soil is made up by adding manures and fertilizers to the soil of the crop fields. Both these manures and fertilizers, these 2 components are major sources of nutrients for the plants so that they are used in the crop production. Okay. So what is it? देखो, plant के लिए ये nutrients organic matters are very important for proper growth and development. But if in the soil these are being used up, and after being used up for many times, ultimately the time will come when the total amount of all the nutrients or the organic matters will be finished, and then the soil will be empty. There will not be presence of any kinds of nutrients as well as organic matter. So in that case, somebody or something will have to come to replace it. Now, which this role is played by this nothing but these manures as well as this fertilizers. So manures and fertilizers क्या करते हैं? These are considered as two major sources of nutrients. तो ये plant nutrient है, major sources, मतलब plant nutrient है, ये दोनों बहुत ही major source है और ये मिक्स हो जाते हैं और इसीलिए प्लांट को प्रॉपर ग्रोथ एंड डेवलपमेंट मिल जाता है. ओके, सो इन डिटेल विल स्टडी अबाउट द मैन्योर. व्हाट द मैन्योर्स आर अबाउट? मैन्योर्स आर नथिंग बट द नेचुरल फर्टिलाइजर्स. ये फर्टिलाइजर की तरह ही काम करता है, मतलब एक वेरी रिच सोर्स ऑफ प्लांट न्यूट्रिएंट्स. बट व्हाट इज द मेन बेनिफिट? दिस इज नेचुरल. ओके, फ्रॉम द नेचर इट डायरेक्टली कम्स फ्रॉम. इसमें कुछ मिक्स नहीं होता है, कोई केमिकल रिएक्शन नहीं होता है, कोई artificial thing is not at all mixed with it. And they are bulky sources of organic matter. Bulky means more in amount. Bulk हम लोग कहते हैं ना, more in amount. Okay, so bulky sources of organic matter. Now it supplies the nutrients in small quantities. तो ये bulk में तो present रहता है, लेकिन जब सप्लाई की बारी आती है तब ये बहुत ही स्मॉल अमाउंट में, कम अमाउंट में ये न्यूट्रिएंट्स को सप्लाई करते हैं एज वेल एज द ऑर्गेनिक मैटर. एंड ऑर्गेनिक मैटर इज सप्लाइड इन लार्ज क्वांटिटीज. तो न्यूट्रिएंट्स जो होते हैं उसको स्मॉल अमाउंट्स में सप्लाई किया जाता है और ऑर्गेनिक मैटर जो है वो लार्ज क्वांटिटीज में. मैन्योर्स आर प्रिपेयर्ड. हाउ दे आर प्रिपेयर्ड? दे आर प्रिपेयर्ड बाय decomposed animal excreta and plant waste material. So manures में जो important है, जो याद रखने वाली है, जिसमें से important है FYM, that is farm yard manure, then compost, green manures, vermicompost, etc. means and so on. Next, so first we'll talk about the farm yard manure, FYM. It is nothing but the decomposed mixture of the cattle excreta. So cattle excreta, the waste matter of the cattle, means the cow dung or dung of any animal. This is basically the animal excreta. Then a urine, litter. Litter is what? Bedding material which is used in night under the cattle. And the leftover organic matter such as roughage, such as fodder. Okay, so these are the leftover materials by which the decomposition works. The decomposition of these matter ultimately forms the FYM, that is the farm yard manure. Now these waste materials are collected daily from the cattle shed. जहाँ पर cattles को रखा जाता है, ये आप लोग देख रहे हो, यहाँ पर cattles को रखा जाता है, तो यहाँ से हर रोज regularly on a regular basis waste materials को collect किया जाता है. Okay, and these are stored in a pit for the decomposition purpose. And who will come for this decomposition? Nothing but the microorganism, that means the bacteria and fungi majorly. And it contains nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. That means NPK. Alright. Now next coming to compost. Compost is prepared from farm and town refuse such as vegetable and animal refuge. That is the excreta of the domestic animals like cow, goat, every kinds of different types of cattle, horse, donkey, camel, cats and so on. And the fecal matter of the human beings. After our fecal matter that is also collected. Sewage waste, जो sewage system में जो वेस्ट मटेरियल, वेस्ट प्रोडक्ट्स जो जम जाता है उसको कलेक्ट किया जाता है. जो वीड्स है, जो अनवांटेड प्लांट्स हैं फील्ड में, जो नॉर्मल प्लांट्स के साथ, नॉर्मल क्रॉप्स के साथ ग्रो करता है, उसको भी वहाँ से हटाया जाता है, रिमूव किया जाता है, राइट. एंड स्ट्रॉ, देन राइस हल्स, फॉरेस्ट लीटर एंड सो ऑन. कॉम्पोस्टिंग क्या है? कॉम्पोस्टिंग एक बायोलॉजिकल प्रोसेस है जिसमें थ्रू दिस प्रोसेस compost is prepared. So now composting is a biological process in which both the aerobic organism and the anaerobic organism, aerobic organism means the organism who can respire in presence of oxygen, and anaerobic organism are those who can respire even in the absence of oxygen. Now these microorganisms can do that, so they participate in the decomposition of the organic matter, and for this it takes from 3 months to 6 months for complete decomposition process, and in this way compost is produced. Now coming to green manure. As the name suggests, the manure gives green appearance. But how this green appearance is being formed? How it gives green appearance? Regarding this, under this we are going to learn about this. See, the practice of green manuring, it includes growing, mulching by the plowing and mixing of green crops with the soil. So soil के साथ जो mix किया जाता है वो है ये green plants के death के बाद उसका जो green crops है उसको soil के साथ mix किया जाता है. Why? To improve the physical structure and soil fertility. Now green manure, it supplies, what are the benefits? Because it supplies nitrogen, phosphorus and organic matters to improve the hydration, aeration and the crumb structure of the soil. It tends to provide the protection against the erosion as well as the leaching, right? These green manures are generally very quickly growing leguminous and non-leguminous plants. Legumes जिसमें होते हैं leguminous like pea plant को legume कह सकते हैं. Beans जो है, जो ऐसे I'm drawing here. See, legume-like structures are there, no, in pea. So these are called, legumes. Okay. And some of the examples of green manure plants are, Sesbania aculeata. Then sun hemp. Sun hemp is a very good example. Guar. Then cowpea or lobia, lentil or masoor dal हम लोग जो बोलते हैं, that is also a very good source of preparing green manure. Okay. Next, coming to fertilizers. See, fertilizers, it provide plant nutrients. Commercially, it is manufactured by using the chemicals. This is very important. So here the main difference between the manures and fertilizers starts. These fertilizers, they supply the source of nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium, and in togetherly it is known as NPK. A beautiful picture is shown over here. For this it will help you to remember. So these are used for good vegetation growth of the leaves, branches as well as the flowers, and it helps to give rise to healthy plants. Now coming to the next topic, that is the irrigation. What is it? It is nothing but the process of supplying water to the crops by means of canal, reservoirs and many other techniques. Right? Now, what are the advantages? Why irrigation is done? Firstly, in the agricultural field, it fulfills many goals, many objectives. So first is what? Crop plants are irrigated with fresh water to supply two essential elements to them. And what are the two essential elements? First is hydrogen and next is oxygen. So oxygen and hydrogen, these two essential elements are supplied. Both of these elements, because in water, these are the two components only, right? So both of these elements, that means the oxygen and hydrogen, these are present in the water molecules as I have told you, and these are very, very essential, very, very necessary for the growth and development of the crop plants. Irrigation process is very necessary so that it can provide sufficient moisture content for the germination of the seeds, as seeds do not germinate in dry soil. So if dry condition prevails, in that condition seeds will not germinate. So seeds germination के लिए proper moisture content present रहना ज़रूरी है. So sufficient moisture content is provided can only be provided by the process of irrigation. That is why it is very important. Now, irrigation of crop plants is also essential for the growth and also the elongation of the roots. So, roots, if the plant roots do not get the supply of water, no irrigation means no supply of water, and if no supply of water, then the roots will not grow and develop. So, the length of the roots will also not increase, and for that elongation will also not take place. So, for proper growth and elongation of the root, irrigation is important. This is because the root of the plants fail to, if the roots do not get elongated, then what will happen? Crop plants का जो root है वो उतना develop नहीं कर पाएगा, and gradually it will fail to develop and will elongate in the dry soil only. It is necessary to increase the number of aerial branches in the crop plants to get a good crop yield. Next, we are coming to the next topic, that is the traditional methods of irrigation. So, in the traditional method, as we discussed, there are mainly 4 systems. First is the moat or pulley system, second is the chain pump, third is the dhekli, and last one is the rahat or the lever system. In this picture you can see this is the moat system, this is the chain pump, this one is the dhekli, and this is the rahat. These 4 are the very well known traditional methods of irrigation. Now firstly we will talk about the moat system. In this system, water is drawn out from well by using a big container which is tied to a long rope, and it moves over a pulley which is fixed at one edge of the well. Now the rope is tied to the container and it is usually pulled by the animals, and which animals? Like buffaloes or camel. When the rope is pulled at the free end, the container gets filled with water and it comes out of the well. Now the farmer, when he or togetherly many farmers, they pour the water from the container into the fields and lowers the empty container back to the well to get it filled again or get it refilled. Now the water which is filled, water-filled container, the container which is filled with water, that again comes out of the well when the bullock, or means the either buffaloes or the camel, whatever, it pulls the rope, and this process is kept on repeating to get a continuous supply of water for the purpose of irrigation. So this is all about the moat system. Next we will come to the chain pump system which is a very well-known method of traditional method of irrigation. It is an arrangement to lift the water, means to draw out the water from a source of water like, the natural source of water like the stream, pond or lake, which has to be at the lower level than the fields. So if the field is here, then the source of water supply, this level should be a little bit lower level. The natural source of water can be stream, can be a small river, can be pond, lake, whatever. Why? Because it has to provide irrigation in the field, and this chain pump, this whole system, it consists of 2 large wheels. As you have seen in the picture, that 2 large wheels are present, one fixed at the lower end of water source and the other, it is fixed at the higher level of above the field. Now these 2 wheels are connected by a chain passing over them. Means one chain is there which helps to pass over the 2 wheels. On the chain, these are hung on the small buckets. With the help of the chain, from one end small buckets are hung. Below the bottom wheel, there is a source of the water. Either it has been connected from the stream or lake or even pond, from which the water is to be lifted up to the field. A handle is attached to the axle of the upper wheel. When the handle which is attached to the upper wheel, it is rotated by the farmer. When the farmer comes to rotate it, then the wheels which are connected by the chain, it starts turning. And when it starts turning, the buckets which are attached to the chain dip in the stream and it gets filled with the water. The moving chain then lifts these buckets filled with the water up to the upper wheel, where the buckets tilt and they get emptied. Inside, in their internal volume gets empty, right, in the field, and it helps to provide the proper amount of water for irrigation. Now the moving chain then carries the empty bucket down the lower wheel and it becomes filled with the water for the second time. Again and again this will be repeated. Now as I told, this process will keep on repeating, and for this only, from the natural source of water, stream, pond or lake, it will be from there continuously water will be lifted up, water will be drawn up and it will be irrigated into the field through the system of chain pump. Now coming to the next, that is the dhekli. Now what is dhekli? Dhekli is an arrangement. It helps to lift the water. Again, for irrigation purpose, these arrangements, by these traditional methods, by this traditional arrangement, we have to lift the water or draw out the water and will be applied on the field for proper and equal irrigation, right? So it is also an arrangement so that water can be lifted from a shallow well which is not so deep, right? And how it will be done? It will be done by using the principle of a small lever. In dhekli, a wooden beam is supported over a forked vertical to support fixed in the ground which is present near the well, and in such a way, how it will be done? It will be done in such a way that its longer arm, इसका जो long arm है, it will be towards the well. Well के तरफ होगा long arm and the shorter arm will be away from that. Now a bucket is needed, bucket will be required so that it can be tied to the end of the longer lever arm, long arm of the lever with the help of a rope, again in such a way that it hangs over the mouth of the well. It has to be hanged, right? And now the weight is tied to the end of the shorter arm of the lever. In order to lift the water from the well, what has to be done? The end of the longer lever arm, which is carrying the bucket, is pulled down by the help of the rope. Now when the bucket is lowered into the well, it gets filled with water naturally, and on releasing the rope, the weight which is attached to the end of the shorter lever arm, it will come down and it will help to lift the water filled bucket out of the well, right? Now the farmer in this way can get the hold of the bucket, can hold the bucket easily, will tilt it, and in this way he will be able to pour out the water into the field. Now this process, in the same way like the other processes, also will be repeated to get a large or huge quantity of water from the well according to the requirement, right? So after that, as our last process of traditional method of irrigation, we will learn about the Rahat system, that is the lever system. So in this system, what happens? The water is again drawn out of the well, and in this method there is a large well which is fixed on an axle of the mouth above the mouth of the well. A long belt is there and many small metal pots are there, and it is put over the circumference of the big wheel. It can move over the wheel when the wheel turns, right? The lower end of the long belt of the pots, it dips inside the water of the well. Now a big wheel is there. Now the big wheel is turned by using the lever system, which is driven by the force of the animal. Like if you have used the buffaloes, then the buffaloes or other, else it will be the camel. Now when the buffalo or the camel move the long horizontal handle of the lever system by going round and round, the big wheel which is fixed over the mouth of the well, it will start to rotate. Now when the wheel will rotate, the water filled pots will come out of the well one after another, definitely, and it will go over the well, it will come downward and pour water into a channel, and it will get emptied and then again will go down to bring out the water more and more. So in this way only the same process, same system will be repeated for the purpose of proper irrigation in the agricultural field. Okay. So this is all about today for this class. In the next class, we'll discuss about some more topics of this chapter. Till then, take care all of you, and thank you.